One of my clients came to me saying, Mayuresh, I want my 2025 to be breakthrough year. So I simply asked him just two simple questions. First, what needs to happen for you to actually experience that breakthrough? And second, in the last 7 days, what one action did you take that moved you even one step closer to it? He went silent. He wasn't expecting that. He was taken aback. And honestly, that is where most people get stuck. We think breakthroughs are yearly events, but in reality, they are not. Breakthroughs are not something you wait for, they are something you build through clarity and daily action. So we worked together, we brought his breakthrough into clear focus, we brought some clarity into what he wants to develop in the year 2025, and then reduced it to one tiny doable action. Like it was simply one line: work on your business for 25 minutes a day, no distractions. Just 25 minutes, not 3 hours, not a massive plan we developed. We just asked him to work 25 minutes and then slowly we introduced him the Pomodoro technique, which we spoke in one of my previous reels. And the interesting part, 6 months later, he didn't even realize when he actually built a system, a team, and a business around his work. That's the compounding power of showing up daily with no distraction. At first, those 25 minutes may look silly, but the results after 6 months, that you yourself won't be able to believe what you have achieved in last 6 months. Hello everyone and welcome back to another enlightening episode of Mindset Matters. I'm your host Mayuresh Srivastava, and before we dive in, I want to wish all my listeners a very Merry Christmas. As we stand here on 25th of December, we're also at the edge of wrapping up 2025. And honestly, this is a perfect moment to pause and reflect. You can reflect upon how did this 2025 went for you? What did you do well? Where did you stumble? Where did you get stuck in your life in 2025? And what do you want to strengthen as you step into the coming year to become the best version of yourself? This is also the time when people start talking about New Year resolutions, vision board, New Year, new me goals kind of thing. But today, we are going to flip that entire script completely. Because your best year doesn't come from one big promise you make in December. To start something from January 1st. Absolutely no. Your best year comes from hundreds of small days where you show up with intention. And that's exactly what today's episode is all about. So, without any delay, let's dive in. Let me start with a simple truth. New Year resolutions don't fail because you're weak. They fail because the system is weak and the very premise on which they are built is flawed. Research shows that 80 to 92% of New Year resolutions fail by February. Not because people lack willpower, but because the way our brain works. Our brain rejects sudden drastic change. It cannot process a sudden shift. And by now, as you all have been listening to me from quite some time, you all know how it is wired to protect us and not shock us. And anything which looks that it is protecting or it is sabotaging our ego or any identity of ours, it tries to save us. And when change feels too big, the mind treats it as a threat and pulls us back to our old habit, to our baseline, to our same identity which we have been in the previous years. It's like trying to go from 0 push-ups a day to 100 push-ups every morning. Your brain goes like, bro, what is this? This is not my normal. And anything that isn't familiar becomes unsustainable. For your brain, those push-ups were simply unfamiliar. We definitely love the idea of big change, but our brain only respects small consistency. And that brings me to the next point. As per a University of Scranton study, 92% of people don't achieve their New Year goals. 92% is like almost everyone, and this is huge. Now the question is why? why 92% people are not able to achieve their New Year resolutions, their goals. So let me break it down for you. Just imagine you're standing at the bottom of a giant mountain like Mount Everest. And as per the study, most people do one of two things. They stare at the peak and panic. They think it's too big, not possible. Let me go back. Suppose someone is around 95 kgs weight and they want to be fitter and target to lose 15 kgs this year. Like in 2026, they target to lose 15 kgs. To them, the goal looks so big that their mind gives up much before the body even starts. And second thing, which as per the result people do, they start running fast in excitement and get exhausted in the first 15 minutes. And they think, it's not for me. They accept their current state as their reality. And that's exactly what happens with New Year resolutions. But the smart hiker won't just look at the peak, or the person who wants to lose 15 kgs won't just start running immediately. They look at the next 10 steps. They plan them and then they take action. Just one step at a time for the first 10 steps. They take pause, they breathe, and if their body permits, then they take 10 more steps. This is how people actually reach the top. Success is never in the following peak. Success is in the next 10 steps which you are going to take. Taking the next 10 small tiny steps every single day. That's what matters. Let's talk about neuroscience. There is a concept called the dopamine loop. But not the cheap dopamine which we spoke in one of our previous episodes. Here I'm talking about the healthy dopamine. Whenever you complete a small, achievable daily action, your brain releases a tiny amount of dopamine. This dopamine does two things. It makes you feel good and it motivates you to repeat the behavior further. This is why small daily goals transform you faster than big yearly goals. Your brain can't process, I will lose 15 kilos in 2026. But it can certainly process, I will walk 15 minutes a day. I will walk 15 minutes from today onwards. That it can process. Your brain can't process, I'll read 50 books this year. Because it's completely unfamiliar to the brain. And you know, what isn't familiar becomes unsustainable for the brain. But it can certainly process, I will read 5 pages a day from today onwards. Because this is something which you have done earlier in the past. It's familiar to your brain and hence it becomes sustainable. So your brain needs micro resolutions, not mega resolutions. So instead of focusing on New Year resolutions, let's start working together to something which is more sustainable. Here is another truth people miss. Your goals must align with your values. If they don't, you will quit. And when I say value, I mean what you truly want, what genuinely drives you, not something you casually wish for. It is not shallow values which I am talking about, it is something even deeper. We all wish many things in our life, but in the end, we act on what we truly value from within. If your value is growth, set a daily action item which aligns with your growth. If you value health, set a daily action item which makes you fitter and better. And if you value family, set a daily connection call which brings you closer to your family members. So, one value, one action, one day, but every day. That's our mantra for today. Think of it as your daily non-negotiable, just like brushing your teeth. Just one thing that aligns with who you want to become. Not 100, not 50, just one. And see how your life gradually changes. There is no magic pill, just a small daily action. Right? If you want to understand value further, we can definitely create a detailed podcast episode on values, where you can realign your values, how you can adjust your values as per the person you want to become. Right? So here's a thought that might shock you further. Don't aim to make 2026 your best year. Yes, you heard me right. Aim to make today your best day. Because when you aim to make an entire year your best year, your mind immediately starts doing the maths and gets overwhelmed by the sheer amount of work it needs to do for the next 365 days. Suppose my goal is to make a sale of rupees 1 crore next year. Will it be fair to make a single sale of 1 crore or make multiple sales adding up to 1 crore? The target is also achieved with multiple good days and good deals, right? So you may first create a clear goal for yourself, whatever it is, and then break it down into simple processes. When I say process, I mean any small activity that moves you towards your goal, that moves you towards the person you want to become. Align those processes with your values, right? Because your values decide what you will consistently show up for. If you value health, anything which helps you become more fitter and better, you will definitely do it, right? So align that process, whatever that process is, with your goal. So continuing the same example, if my goal is to make a sale of rupees 1 crore in next 1 year and my value is building genuine relationship with people, then my process cannot be like close 5 deals every month. That's an outcome, not an activity, not a process. So my process in that case will look like calling 5 prospects every day because I value genuine relationship. Adding value to existing client, that's another process. It could be showing up on time because I value genuine relationship, I value people around me. Following up without fail and deeply understanding customer needs. Because if I do one of these processes consistently, you also know how these activities will transform the result, right? Because if I value relationship, I will naturally show up for these actions. And if I show up for these actions every day with intent, then rupees 1 crore target becomes a byproduct of it. We don't have to aim for it. We need to just focus on our process and the result will follow. And this reminds me of something very interesting, which is something close to my heart. Bhagavad Gita. Yes. In Bhagavad Gita's chapter 2, Shlok 47, Lord Krishna says, Karmarnyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhur ma te sangostva karmani. Yes, that's the shlok of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2. And this shlok reminds me of something powerful. Processes are that karma. When you stay committed to the process, results become a natural byproduct of it. And when you choose only the result, anxiety becomes your companion. So stick to the karma and the result will follow. And let me give you my own example here. Back in 2021, I set a target to lose 10 kgs. The number was clear in my mind. But then a question hit me. What happens after I lose 10 kgs? Will I just slip back into the same old state? The honest answer of that reflective question was yes. Unless I change something deeper, something more deeper in myself. So I realigned my values and placed health in my top 3 priority. Once my values shifted, the process became simpler. 45 minutes of daily walk, no matter what. That one process kept me moving. Not only did I hit the number, I actually built a healthier lifestyle around it. I changed my ecosystem to support me in this journey of mine. And no matter what, I continuously did that for 3 to 4 years, and now even also like whenever I get time, I do that. So that's the power of values aligned with daily actions. Values, it's something which actually truly means to you. It should not be something shallow which you wish for, right? There should be a higher purpose attached to your values. And when you do that one process, that one daily activity aligned with your value, you will naturally end up making 40 to 50% of your days out of 365 days truly amazing. And guess what? 180 good days are good enough to transform your entire life. You don't need 365 perfect days. You just need consistent good days. And those good days come from values aligned consistent actions. You have probably heard of the famous 1% better everyday idea. But here's the deeper point. If you improve 1% a day, you become 37 times better in a year. Not 37%. I'm talking about 37 times. That's the power of compound consistency. Just like money grows with interest, your habit also grows with consistency. So now the question comes, what to do instead of New Year resolutions? Because this is the time where people hype around with New Year resolutions. Let me give you a simple structure for your next 7 days, which I call the daily wins blueprint. Number 1, choose one value aligned action. And before that, I would invite you to understand your value, what it truly means, what you truly want in your life, what is something which drives you. And suppose if it is health, then you may put 25 minutes walk daily. If it is career for you, put 20 minutes of deep work. If something aligned with your growth, then you may put 2-page reading or probably 30 minutes of course on Coursera or Udemy kind of platform. If it is something on the mindset, probably you may put 10 minutes of journaling or 10 minutes of meditation, right? So when you identify that one consistent process, that's number 1. Number 2, make it small. If it feels too big, you won't be able to do it. So start small so that your brain understands and you become familiar with that process. And if it is familiar, it is sustainable, as you all know it. And number 3, do it before 12 p.m. When you win the morning, you win the day. And number 4, track it. A simple tick mark on a notebook. Your brain loves visual proof, and then it releases dopamine by seeing that, visual tick. And number 5, celebrate small wins. Even saying, good job, I showed up today for this particular activity, it creates a dopamine reward loop. Do this for 7 days, 14 days, and then 21 days. Before you know it, you're building your best year as a consequence by consciously building your best days. So focus not on the entire year, focus on the number of days, what you are going to build. Focus each single day, what one activity I need to do, and just do it without thinking what will be the result, how I am coming across to people. And no matter what, you just have to focus on one simple activity on a daily basis. It could be very small, like 2 pages every day, but in 365 days, you will build a habit to read more number of books. So as we close this year, I want you to remember this. New Year's don't change people. Daily habits change people. Don't wait for January 1 or the calendar to change to 2026. Or don't wait for another Monday. Don't wait for someone to motivate you. You are good enough to start your day. Start it today. Do one thing that is aligned with the person you want to become. And if you do that, even 40% of the time, your 2026 will be unrecognizable. This is your moment, this is your day, and this is your life. So if today's conversation nudged something inside you, take a moment, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, am I waiting for the perfect day or choosing to make today my best day? That one question can change everything, right? You don't have to think of 365 days. You just have to think what I have to do today. That's it. And do something which is aligned with your values. And if you do it consistently, you will get that dopamine loop. You will be more happier and you will see yourself completely transformed by the next, 6 months, 7 months time. So on that note, I want to say thank you everyone to listening to this episode of Mindset Matter. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might be waiting for that perfect day. Maybe they just need a reminder that the real breakthrough happens from doing things consistently. And as always, keep listening and keep working on yourself because your mindset truly matters. Thank you.